Diego Costa's ongoing summer fiasco in regards to the messages that he's not so discreetly dropping, I would say, Jason, when he goes to a party and wears an Atletico Madrid jersey and films himself doing it. Or it might have been his brother, because have you seen his brother?
They look a lot alike.
Diego Costa's brother looks more like Diego Costa than Diego Costa.
But how is he in the box?
He's probably not bad if he's got the same genetics. So Diego Costa, as we know, has been out of favor with Antonio Conte, hence why Morata came into Chelsea and has straight away got himself into that starting role with Batshuayi taking up the backup position, which leaves Diego Costa out in the cold. I've voiced my thoughts on this before. I think Diego Costa is a fantastic asset when you get him focused and less bipolar. But with anyone like him, player. Yeah, he's a confidence player, and when he is confident, there's no one deadlier in the Premier League. So keeping him happy is a job in its own, and one that may detract away from focusing on other things. So I understand Antonio Conte may just want to get rid of him, taking a profit. But again, I also see the upside of, especially when you have now Manchester United, having Zlatan is almost a backup to Lukaku, and Manchester City looking to go in and get Alexis Sanchez, with Manchester United hovering as well. You're thinking to yourself, okay, so say Morata goes down. Do you have enough confidence in Batshuayi leading you to another Premier League title? I just don't know if there's just, if swallowing pride is at stake here, if giving Diego Costa a little bit more to make him happy. Chelsea fans, I've been trying to monitor their outlook on this, and I think most Chelsea fans understand what he has to offer as a player. But again, they're worried about the dressing room becoming split as to what happened with Jose Mourinho. So maybe you just get rid of someone who is an antagonist in that situation and just focus on team chemistry.
Team chemistry is one of the most important things when it comes to winning any championship across any single sport. Rarely, and I mean rarely, do you see toxic locker rooms be good enough to win, be able to. I've always said for a long time, I've believed that one way to fix a toxic locker room is to win. Right, and it's such a standard blanket statement for any team in any sport, like, oh yeah, it's easier said than done, just go out and win. However, it's not actually a solution, it's just a way to duct tape over a bullet wound, circa World War I style. So, and what I mean by that specifically is, yeah, it will get you through certain times, but it will also carry over into off seasons, into summer transfer windows. I think Chelsea does need to just move on from Diego Costa. I think without him, and what you see right now is they still absolutely can compete for a title. They can still absolutely compete in multiple competitions with Morata. I understand your point of them being if Morata goes down. Well, if Morata goes down, I still think that they have the back four or back three, I should say, that's strong enough. They're still doing the 3-5-2. 3-5-2, thank you. I was about to mess up my math for a second there. But my point being is their back three, I think, is still sturdy enough to keep games competitive, and finding goals in the Premier League has always been a challenge for any team that's looking to win a title. But on top of that, it's not like Chelsea doesn't have the money come winter transfer window to make a rush signing to try to, again, put a Band-Aid over a slightly smaller bullet wound in this case.
Yeah.
They're just bleeding out all over the place in this case. But in terms of the Atletico Madrid side, we just showed some pictures before. It's a very young Diego Costa who came from Atletico Madrid. It's a different Diego Costa now. Do you think that different confidence, sturdy, strong Costa would be, obviously it's a good signing because we know what he's capable of. Is it good enough to make Atletico challenge for La Liga prominence and of course other competitions, Copa del Rey's Champions League?
By one person, and that's Antoine Griezmann, because Antoine Griezmann is able to work so well with a hold-up striker. Like he made Fernando Torres look rejuvenated.
Is the bridesmaid example?
Well, yeah, but he's a different example, because when I say a bridesmaid, I usually mean it as someone who's comfortable being second string, but he plays a bridesmaid's role, but still is the bride, if that makes sense. He plays off of someone, so that person is the focal point of the attack, and he almost becomes even better. I can see your wheels turning trying to make an analogy. You don't need one.
It's one hell of a bridal party. That's it. Just a very interesting bridal party. 2017.
But it's very complicated with this, because Atletico Madrid have the transfer embargo. So if they were to sign him, they wouldn't be able to feature him until January. So there's the option for him to go on loan. So clubs like Everton have inquired about him. Diego Costa does not want to go back to England. Monaco and Marseille have also expressed interest, while the outsiders, Las Palmas, have offered Costa the chance to remain in La Liga until January. So they're like, hey, come stay at our hotel, play some games with us, and then we'll send you on your way to Atletico after January. So it's a little bit more complicated than just simply signing for Atletico and going and playing. Right. He wouldn't be able to play for them until their embargo's lifted. So yeah, it's definitely a complicated situation. But another thing that happened to Chelsea, I just wanted to highlight.
Yes. Biggest
publicity stunt imaginable. Signing Eden Hazard's brother.
Is it Kylian Hazard?
I've only seen.
There's a lot of. By the way, there's a lot of Hazards.
Yeah, there's a Thorgan Hazard as well. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He's there. He's the other brother that plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach. And when I seen Hazard's brother signed, I thought, okay, that's who I thought, but it's not. It's the third brother, the younger brother of Eden, who is Kylian Hazard, who they signed from Ujpest. He's 22 years of age, so he's still young. Scored 4 goals in 35 appearances and becomes the third. He's obviously the third Hazard who's playing professional football. And I actually don't, there's a Chelsea legend, Ray Wilkins, who came out and just like blasted them for just a nonsense signing, like none needed. Now, I don't know enough about him. There's 48 hours left in the transfer window. Do I think they could be spending more of their time to try and convince a Diego Costa to stay rather than looking to bring in the Hazard brothers that I'm sure they're already pitching? The Dukes of Hazard.
It's not bad, but
I mean, it's all right.
Dukes of Hazard, a Confederate flag on the top of their car.
And they're trying to sign, obviously, they're making big splashes. They're trying to increase the depth, I think, with Oxlade-Chamberlain, and you mentioned Danny Drinkwater, who their bid
rejected the bid for 25 million pounds, but still, as I mentioned before to you, I was like, that seems just like the fitting of he knows how to play and win in the Premier League.
Yeah. It's exactly, and he's a workhorse. He's gonna do a very similar role, if you remember, when Scott Parker signed for Chelsea during the glory years of them. He was just a box-to-box workhorse, and that's what sometimes you need in there, especially with Matic leaving. So I think it's a publicity stunt to sign Hazard's brother and maybe proven wrong, and suddenly he becomes the Eden Hazard of Chelsea as well, whilst Eden Hazard's there. But it just, to me, 4 goals, 35 games for a team like Ujpest. If he was banging in relentlessly, I know he plays more sort of like an attacking midfield role.
There's a Kylian Mbappe and there's a Eden Hazard. This guy just comes in.
Combination, Kylian Hazard.
Combining some of the bigger names of the transfer window of 2017. I think it's. I agree to the extent that it's a publicity stunt. Maybe Kylian Hazard does have some promise. Maybe
if he's got the genes of his brother.
Maybe he's vouching for him. He's saying, look,
I think Eden Hazard did vouch. Yeah.
We can make. Look, the Terry brothers turned out fine.
They did all right.
Is there going to be a chant?
Hazard. I mean, it could go.
Work, be something Hazard, Biohazard. Just like keep going into different Hazards, Dukes of Hazard.
Oh man, nah, it doesn't go as well.